Farming on a mountainside is a race against time and nature. Here, every day begins before the sun crests the peaks, and every decision can mean the difference between abundance and scarcity. The mountain farmer's life is shaped by the land's challenges and its fleeting opportunities. The air is thin, making every breath a little harder. The weather is unpredictable. One moment, the sky is clear. The next, clouds roll in with chilling winds or sudden rain. The growing season is short, sometimes just a handful of weeks, so there's no time to waste. Every day of sun and every drop of rain counts. A single missed day of work or a lost week of warmth can set back an entire harvest. The mountain farmer must watch the skies and seize every opportunity, knowing that nature rarely gives second chances. On these steep slopes, plants fight for space in thin, rocky soil. The earth is stubborn, filled with stones and roots, and every seed must struggle to find its place. Only the strongest survive, and even they need help to thrive. There's no room for wasted effort. Every moment matters. The farmer's hands are always moving, tending, nurturing, and protecting. Time slips away quickly, and each task must be done with care and intention. Maximizing the short season is the heart of mountain farming. When the weather is right, crops seem to leap from the soil, racing to mature before the cold returns. The farmer must work in harmony with the land, coaxing every bit of growth from the brief summer. We are the guardians of our crops, tipping the balance in their favor. Every day, we check for pests, shield young plants from wind, and make sure nothing stands in the way of their growth. Our vigilance is their best defense. Think of your seeds, potatoes, maize, quinoa, as young children, full of potential, but vulnerable. Each one carries the hope of a harvest, but only if it's given the right start. In these mountains, that start is everything. They need a strong start, especially in the mountains. Early growth sets the stage for the entire season, and weak seedlings rarely catch up. The farmer's care in these first weeks can make all the difference. The pressure of the short season means setbacks are costly. A late frost, a dry spell, or a missed day of weeding can mean the difference between a full larder and an empty one. A slow start leads to smaller harvests and lighter baskets. Every missed opportunity echoes at harvest time, when the results of every choice become clear. Every action, from soil prep to planting, must be purposeful. The mountain farmer plans each step, knowing there's little room for error. Preparation is the foundation of success, but one simple act stands above the rest: weeding. Removing weeds gives crops the space, light, and nutrients they need to grow strong and fast. In the mountains, where resources are scarce and competition is fierce, weeding is not just a chore, it's a lifeline for your crops. It may seem humble, but weeding is the key to unlocking your mountain farm's full potential. With every weed pulled, you give your crops a better chance to thrive, ensuring that your hard work pays off when harvest time arrives. Beneath your crops, an invisible war rages. Every day, just out of sight, a fierce struggle unfolds in the darkness of the soil. Here, roots twist and turn, searching for every drop of water and every grain of nutrient they can find. It's a battleground where survival is never guaranteed, and the outcome shapes the future of your harvest. Weeds are fierce competitors, fighting for water, nutrients, and sunlight. They don't wait for an invitation. They invade, pushing their way into every available space, determined to outgrow and outcompete your crops at every turn. In mountain soils, where resources are scarce, this battle is even tougher. The thin, rocky earth offers little to share, making every root's quest for survival even more desperate and intense. Weeds often have deep or dense roots, stealing nutrients before your crops can reach them. Their roots spread quickly, forming a tangled web that blocks your crops from accessing the essentials they need to thrive. Your crops start at a disadvantage. Without help, they'll lose. Young seedlings are especially vulnerable, easily overwhelmed by the aggressive growth of weeds that surround them. Imagine trying to drink from a cup with a dozen others. There's never enough. Every drop of water and every bit of nourishment becomes a precious prize, and weeds are always first in line. Weeds are the uninvited guests, taking what your crops need most. They slip between rows, crowding out your carefully planted seedlings and robbing them of their chance to grow strong. Early competition stunts young plants, making them weak and slow to grow. When weeds get a head start, your crops fall behind, struggling to catch up as the season progresses. Lost time in these early weeks can't be recovered later. The damage done by weeds in the beginning lingers, reducing yields and weakening plants for the rest of the season. Above ground, weeds quickly shade out your crops, blocking sunlight. Their leaves stretch higher and wider, casting shadows that leave your crops in the dark. Without light, crops can't make energy to grow. Photosynthesis slows, and your plants become pale, weak, and unable to reach their full potential. Weeds attack from above and below, leaving your crops struggling. It's a relentless assault, with weeds choking roots underground and stealing sunlight above. This is why early, decisive weeding is essential. By removing weeds before they take hold, you give your crops the best chance to grow strong and healthy. Your crop's survival depends on it. The unseen battle beneath the soil is real, and with your help, your crops can win. It's hard to believe weeds can do so much damage, but the numbers don't lie. Ignoring weeds can cost you up to 90% of your harvest in some mountain regions. In the Andes, timely weeding can double potato yields compared to fields left weedy. In the Himalayas, unchecked weed/grain yields by up to 60%. These aren't just statistics, they're food and income lost or gained. Consistent weeding is one of the highest return investments you can make. The only cost is your time and effort. No fertilizer or chemical can match the impact of timely weeding. The power is literally in your hands. Mastering this simple act transforms your harvest. Weeding is the foundation of a successful mountain farm. Timing is everything, especially with weeding. The most critical period is the first 3 to 4 weeks after your crops emerge. During this window, your plants are most vulnerable and weeds grow fast. If weeds win now, your crops are stunted for the season. Think of it as a race. Your crops need a clean start to sprint ahead. Remove weeds early, when they're small and easy to pull. This gives your crops a strong root system and healthy leaves. Don't wait until weeds tower over your plants. The damage is already done. The first weeding, done within 2 to 3 weeks of sprouting, is the most important. Protect your crops during this fragile stage. Early weeding sets the stage for a heavy harvest. Weeding isn't a one-time job, it's a rhythm that repeats throughout the entire growing season. Think of it as a regular part of your farm's heartbeat, not just a chore to check off once and forget. Staying ahead of weeds is about timing, consistency, and understanding your crop's needs. Plan for at least 2 to 3 weedings per crop cycle. Mark these dates on your calendar just like you would for planting or fertilizing. This helps you stay organized and ensures you never miss a critical window. The first weeding, within 3 weeks of crop emergence, is absolutely crucial. At this stage, your crops are still small and vulnerable, and weeds can quickly outcompete them for sunlight, water, and nutrients. Removing weeds early gives your crops the best possible start. The second weeding, about a month later, tackles the next flush of weeds that inevitably sprout up. By now your crops are stronger, but weeds can still pose a threat if left unchecked. This round helps maintain your crop's advantage. For many crops, these 2 weedings are enough. By this point, your plants have grown large enough to shade the soil, making it difficult for new weeds to establish. The dense canopy your crops create acts as a natural weed barrier. However, for longer season crops or in regions with frequent rain, a third weeding may be necessary. Rain encourages new weed growth, and long-maturing crops leave the soil exposed for longer, giving weeds more chances to sprout. Be observant, walk your fields regularly, looking closely under leaves and between rows. Early detection is key. If you spot weeds starting to take hold, act quickly before they get out of control. For example, a maize farmer typically weeds first in early June, just as the young plants are getting established. The second weeding happens in July when the maize is growing tall and strong. After these weedings, the maize canopy becomes so dense that it shades the soil, suppressing most new weeds naturally. This is the goal for many crops. Let your plants do the work for you. The key is to weed when weeds are still small and manageable. Tiny weeds are much easier to remove and haven't yet stolen valuable resources from your crops. Don't let them become a jungle. Once weeds get big, they're harder to remove and can seriously damage your harvest. This simple rhythm, early weeding, then again a month later, sets your crops up for success. You'll see the difference at harvest time, with healthier plants and fewer losses. Consistency is your best tool. Make weeding a habit, not an afterthought, and your fields will stay productive and clean. Weeding should become a natural part of your farming year, woven into your routine alongside planting, watering, and harvesting. When you keep up with weeding, your crops will thank you with a bigger, healthier yield, and you'll spend less time fighting weeds later on. Weeding on steep slopes brings special challenges. We must remove weeds without harming crops or causing erosion. Use your hands for young, delicate plants and deep-rooted weeds. For larger areas, use a hoe. Always stand uphill and pull toward you for safety. Hoe shallowly, just below the surface, to kill weeds without disturbing soil. Avoid deep digging, which can bring up new weed seeds and loosen soil. After pulling weeds, press soil back down to prevent erosion. Lay pulled weeds along the contour to slow water and trap soil. Be careful near crop roots. Use hands close to plants. Hoe between rows. Gentle, precise weeding protects both crops and precious topsoil. This combination keeps your fields productive and your soil in place. On a mountain, every bit of soil matters. Smart weeding preserves your harvest and your land. After your first weeding, it's time to mulch. Mulch is a layer of straw, leaves, grass, or pulled weeds, if seed-free, around your crops. Mulching blocks sunlight, stopping new weeds from sprouting. It saves you time. Mulch does your second and third weeding for you. Mulch also conserves water by shading the soil and reducing evaporation. Your crops stay moister, and you may need less irrigation. As mulch breaks down, it feeds your soil, improving fertility and structure. This is especially valuable in thin mountain soils. Mulching is a simple step with big rewards: less work, healthier soil, and stronger crops. Right after your first weeding, lay down a generous layer. It's an investment that pays off all season. Let mulch be your secret weapon. Weed-free fields aren't just about yield, they're about health. Weeds host pests and diseases that can devastate your crops. Pests like aphids and beetles thrive on weeds, then move to your plants. Weedy fields create humid, stagnant conditions perfect for fungal diseases. Clean fields allow sun and wind to dry leaves, reducing disease risk. Removing weeds breaks pest and disease cycles before they start. This is preventative medicine for your crops. Healthy fields need fewer chemicals and less intervention. Weeding is a sustainable way to protect your harvest. A clean field is a strong, resilient field. Keep weeds out, and your crops will thrive. We've explored the power of weeding on a mountain farm. Weeds steal resources, slash yields, and invite pests and disease. Timely weeding, especially in the first weeks, can double your harvest. Mulch saves labor and builds healthy soil. Clean fields mean healthier crops and fewer problems. But knowledge only matters when you put it into practice. Farmers worldwide face these same challenges and find solutions. Your experience is part of this global story. Look at your fields. Can use the critical weed-free period or mulch to improve your harvest. Share your successes and challenges with others. The simple act of weeding transforms effort into abundance. Take up your hoe, tend your crops, and let's make this season bountiful together.